We had many thoughts what we're going to talk about tonight. We wanted to talk about my story, we wanted to talk about Mazal, we wanted to talk about Emunah, we wanted to talk about the four elements, we wanted to talk about plants. We'll talk about everything. We'll get to it. But we decided to talk about the foundation of belief, of the foundation of Judaism, of the topic that if you don't know how to digest and address the right way, then you are completely lost in your path. When somebody's lost in their path, the result will be unhappiness. You don't have to raise your hands because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but raise your hands in your heart. And I'm going to ask a question. Who can you say that there are 100%, no questions, no doubt, 100% happy? If you wanted to raise your hand, you're more than welcome. But you don't have to. There are many questions a person needs to ask themselves every day. One of them is, am I really happy? I can have a $15 million home. Are you really happy? Are you happy with all the medals, I'm talking medals, cars that are outside? Are you happy with what you have on your hand? Are you happy with who you live your life with? Are you really happy? The answer is, by the way, you don't have to answer me, I will answer to you. Most people, 99.99999% are miserable. Not happy, miserable. And I'm not saying it to hurt anybody. I'm not saying it to step on anybody's toes. Definitely not to sound arrogant or pretentious. That's the reality. And I see people's faces and I can tell you exactly the inside. You know how you say face in Hebrew? Panim. Panim means pnim, the inside. You look at somebody's face, if you know how to read the face, you know everything about that person. So I'm not saying it chas v'shalom. Don't take my words in a negative way, chas v'shalom, that I'm trying to attack somebody, or chas v'shalom, insult somebody. You can be smart and say, I'll take these words to be educated and inspired. The sad reality is that most people are unhappy. Now, why are you unhappy? Because you don't have enough money in your bank account? No. Are you not unhappy? Are you unhappy because you chas v'shalom sick, or can't find your other half, or can't have children, or whatever? No. It's all scenery. The reason why people are unhappy is because their soul is unhappy. End of story. If your soul is happy, you're going to be happy. We can finish this lecture right now. Exactly a week from today, most people in this room and many other Jews around the world will be fasting. We're going to be commemorating the destruction of the Second Temple. People think we are crying on a piece of real estate that got burnt. We don't cry because a piece of real estate in the holiest place of the universe got burned down. We are crying because our sanctuary was burned down. My mikdash, my sanctuary, my structure is destroyed. My own structure. My mikdash. Mikdash is a sanctuary, a temple. Why am I saying that? Because this is a 24+ hour fast. I don't know about you, but most people, when they start fasting first 3 hours, okay, no big deal. After 6 hours, a little bit of a headache. After 9 hours, a little bit of a stomach ache. After 13 hours, a little bit of weakness. After 15 hours, you already you're seeing stars already. Some people know. Some people can go 3 days without eating. Proven. If you don't give your body water, sleep, food, what's going to happen? The body will react. Stop giving your soul, body, your soul, water and air and food, the soul will also bother you. So most people are unhappy because their soul is bothered from inside and the soul is complaining. Why aren't you giving me some Torah and mitzvot? Why are you slandering all day long and lying and judging people the wrong way? And so tonight I want to touch on one thing, why many people are unhappy. And don't take it personal to get insulted. Be smart and take my words to change your life. A lot of people are unhappy because they're clueless. They're lost. They have no guidance. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's the next step. And then they're asking everybody for advice. And everybody's giving them the worst advice. Now they're completely confused. And on the outside, people look calm and centered and they know what they're doing. But you saw now. Don't take it personally, but I didn't eat. You know why? Because everybody comes to me, Rabbi, I have a question, a small question. Usually, I never got anybody saying, Rabbi, I have a huge question. It's going to take 2 hours. It's always a small question, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. If I hear 2 minutes, I sit down. Small question, I take something to drink, okay. Call my wife, I'll be home tomorrow. 15 years I travel around the world and I lecture. I never heard one person say, Rabbi, I need you for 3 hours. It's going to be long. Sit down. It's always like a minute or two. Really? I don't know what's your perception of time. For me, 2 minutes is 60 seconds plus 60 seconds. End of story. People are lost, confused, no direction. And they think they'll go to Tony Robbins and no, not talking about Tony Robbins. I'm just saying people think they can get some. People are thirsty for inspiration. Why are you here tonight? You think you're here tonight because you heard there's going to be amazing sushi? No. Most people are unhappy because they're lost. With that said, we talked about it. Thursday, we had a beautiful lecture here in Great Neck. Wednesday, we had a beautiful lecture in Brooklyn. We talked about all these different things to understand how not to be lost. But tonight we're talking about something completely different. We're going to talk about the major question that everybody has is there really free choice? Do you think you have free choice? You don't have to answer me. You can nod your head if you want. Do you really think you have free choice in this world? Some people say, no, I have zero free choice. Some people say, oh, this is a topic that we can go for days, months, years. I have a one-word answer for this question. Do you know or don't know if we have or if we don't have free choice? You know what's my answer? Yes. There's no answer. So tonight I'm just going to shed some light on it. This is something that we need to dissect and talk for many, many classes and meetings, but tonight I'm going to talk about something very, very particular. Hopefully it will broaden your horizon a little bit. And you know what? If you're able to jump on the wagon, you'll be much more focused on what you need to do. You're going to be much more on top of things that will cause you to be much less confused, much less distracted, and much more on top of your game. Each and every one of us came to this world with a mission. If you want to completely jump out of the scene of the world, we are on a stage. Everybody here is the cast. There's a theme, there's a story, and now we're playing the show here, and this is a short show. Only a couple of years, few years, 60 years, 70 years. When the soul comes out of the body, it finishes the show. Now, I'm going to really try to be as focused as possible and to be as clear and as short as possible about this unbelievable topic. But first of all, where does the question even come from about free choice? We only find one time in the Torah the word choice. One time. The whole big $1 million question is one time. And this word is uvacharta. That's it. And you should choose. I'm sure you ever heard of it. You should choose good, you'll choose life. You choose bad, you choose death. ובחרת בטוב, ובחרת בחיים, ובחרת ברע, ובחרת במוות. That's what it says. That's what it says in the Torah. Now, this is something that for us is hard to relate with and to understand. There's only one entity that is perfect. Everything else is not perfect. That entity, we call it God. We don't like using the word God but for us to understand, only Hashem is perfect. I know sometimes you look in the morning in the mirror and you think you are the perfect one, but no. Sorry to break the myth. We are far from perfect. The only one that is perfect is Hashem. Now, words in English don't always make sense. In Hebrew, it's called Shalom. Shalom is whole, complete. Why is Hashem perfect and complete? Because Hashem is not bound to anything. And definitely not bound, not to past, not to present, not to future. Can you imagine a reality with no time? Now, before I spoke about my near-death experience, you know, the first thing that, so to say, hit me when my soul jumped out of the body, the first thing that hit me, that I didn't hear anything. There was no sound. There was unbelievable silence. Be quiet now for 20 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Do you hear the engine of the air conditioning? Right? You hear a lot of noise. Now be quiet now for 30 seconds, 2 minutes. You'll hear a lot of noise. Some noise from the back, a car, whatever. Even if you are in a silence booth, you still hear some type of noise in your ear. That noise, I don't know how it's not driving people nuts. That's why people are, I don't want to say nuts, but because there's something buzzing in the ear all the time. And that's only in this world. In the world above, there's no sound. Silence. First thing that I felt in my near-death experience is unbelievable silence. The next thing that I felt is I didn't have a body. And the third thing that I felt is that there was no time. Can you imagine no time, no watch, no schedule? I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere. No pressure, no being late. Our life is so pressured with time, seconds, hours, minutes, days. We can't imagine that. When God wanted to create a world, He had to create two things: time and space. Makom v'zman. Place, space, where to put the world. And the world, I'm not talking about planet Earth, I'm talking about galaxies that NASA can't even imagine yet. We call it space. This is a dot when it comes to Hashem. Somebody sent me not too long ago a video that you see our planet, and then it goes bigger, so you see the solar system, then it goes bigger, you see, a greater part of the solar system, and it goes bigger and bigger. At some point, it shows you different suns, different galaxies, and Earth is like a little dot, and that's like it goes more and more. The space where the Kadosh Baruch Hu created to put the world is nothing compared to the world above. And the next thing, of course, is time. God is not bound to time. I'm sure you all know one of the major names of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei. We don't pronounce the name, but if you break the letters of the name, Haya, Hoveh, Yihiyeh, was, is, will be, past, present, future. I'm going to give you a little trick tonight to bring some calmness to your neshama, some peace into your soul. Get a picture or find it in a siddur, or doesn't matter where. Look at the name Yud Kei Vav Kei for a couple of minutes. Shiviti Hashem Negdi Tamid. Yud Kei Vav Kei always has to be in my face. If you know how to meditate on these letters, this will calm down the entire system. Most people put on their walls pictures of junk. Smart people put pictures of names of Hashem. Some people put it on their body in a necklace. Chas v'shalom. Don't do it in a chas v'shalom a tattoo. Oy va'avoy. Somebody does tattoos of the names of Hashem. By the way, that's what they used to do many, many years ago. They would tattoo on their body names of the Kadosh Baruch Hu to be able to perform miraculous acts. Chas v'shalom. But nevertheless, meditating on names of Hashem, especially Yud Kei Vav Kei, if you can look at that name, Shiviti Hashem Negdi Tamid, look at it 5 minutes a day, I guarantee to you, and focus on the letters, guarantee to you, system comes down. Now, with that said, that Hashem has no boundaries of time, Haya, Hoveh, Yiyeh, the letters of Hashem is Yud, and then a Hey, and then a Vav, and a Hey. So take the two letters, Hey and one a Yud, that's Haya, right? Hoveh means right now, present, takes two letters of Hashem, Hey and Vav, that's Hoveh. Yihiyeh is Hashem's name with the different order, past, present, future. So if Hashem is above time, then we learn from that Hashem knows everything that I'm going to do, right? He's above the time. So if Hashem knows everything that I'm about to do, I'm right now living in the present. But in the world above, the future already exists. Which means that when Hashem is looking at everything, He sees the past, that's not a big deal. He sees the present, but He also sees the future. Because in the world above, the future exists as we speak. Can you imagine? This is a little bit of a mind game. What do you mean? If the future already exists, so do I have free choice? If the script is already written, who asked me here before if you can change something in your life? I don't see her. If you can change something. Okay. Can you really change something if it's already written?
Yes. You can change how you get there.
No, I'm not looking for answers. I'm just asking questions I'm joking. Don't get hurt from my comments. So let's go back to 2 sentences ago. If Hashem sees the future as we speak, which means that He knows what I'm going to do, so do I really have free choice? The script is written already. Our sages say, Hakol tzafui, everything is predicted. But what does it continue? V'hareshut netuna, but you get permission. So if everything is predicted, how are you giving me permission? So we'll try to shed some light on this tonight. Imagine now a car driving on the highway. In the car is you. You started from point A and you're going to point B. Right now there's a satellite somewhere in space tracking you driving. Why is the satellite tracking you? Because you put in the GPS, I need to go to this destination. So the GPS already knew where you started, the GPS knows where you're going, the GPS is seeing the highway from above, so it's able to see your starting point, what's going on the road, if there's traffic or not, what's your destination, calculate destination and traffic, and tell you, okay, you'll be there in 13 minutes. So the GPS also knows the future, right? He knows when I'm going to get there. Especially you go to Waze or one of these sophisticated GPS, they can calculate, they see the traffic. How many times you go in the GPS, it tells you you're there in 13 minutes. Suddenly it jumps to 23 minutes. Why? Because something stopped. And the whole traffic stopped. So you see on the GPS a red line, but the GPS already saw, it's predicting your arrival. So much more so when the master of the universe is looking from above, he's looking at a panoramic view of the beginning, the middle, and the end, because he's from above. Not physically, by the way. Which kind of goes together to when my near-death experience, I always say, I mean, you really have to hear the whole thing. I'm sure a lot of you already heard it. I say that I also saw a panoramic picture of the entire world, from the beginning till the end, everything in between. And it's not that I saw somebody like Avraham Avinu walking in the desert with a stick. I just saw the entire panoramic view of everything condensed into one point. Also to see how the end looks. We're very close to the end. We'll talk about it later, Be'ezrat Hashem. But the Kadosh Baruch Hu has an overview of everything. So with that said, Hashem knows what I'm about to do. And if this is the case, then do I really have free choice? The answer is yes, you have free choice. The answer is very, very simple. You have free choice. You have 100% free choice, not 90%, or your hands is bent. You have 100% free choice, even though the Kadosh Baruch Hu knows what you're going to do. He already thought 3 steps ahead. But he says, no, I'll give you, you'll choose. Exactly like the famous Mishnah says, Hakol tzafui, everything is predicted, v'hareshut netuna. But you have a reshut. Reshut means permission. So you have 100%. What do you need to choose? You don't choose if you wear a white shirt or a blue shirt. By the way, that's not the free choice. Uvacharta batov, right? Either you choose good, which means life. Techev will explain why good is life. Uvacharta vara, you choose bad. Ra means bad, means death. That's your choice. Not which color car you're going to get, not where you're going to live, and not if you're eating tonight Italian or sushi. Now, why do we have free choice? And by the way, what I'm talking about tonight is very, very on the surface. We're just trying to shed some light about the topic and give you a few tools to leave this door with something, some souvenir. And later on, there's a lot more to talk about. The reason why we have free choice, because the whole world is built on one system that Rambam is addressing, and it's called Sachar ve'onesh. A reward and a punishment. Just remember, Sachar ve'onesh. Sachar is a reward, punishment is a onesh. Excuse me. If the world is built on sachar ve'onesh, must be free choice. Because then how am I going to get a reward? If I tell you choose this or choose that, if you choose good, I'll reward you. If you choose bad, I'll punish you. It has to be free choice. So we're going by the foundation of the belief of the Torah that you do good, you'll get rewarded. You do bad, you'll get punished. That's how it is. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't distort it. That is it. I didn't say that. Many great tzaddikim said that. But Rambam elaborates on that. Rambam is Maimonides, and he says the world is built on punishment and reward. Sachar ve'onesh. Why? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, for the ones of you who don't know, he's one of the greatest sages we have in our history, one of the greatest Tanaim, the dominating student of Rabbi Akiva, another one of the giants. He's the author of the book of the Zohar. He says in the Zohar, if you eat a free meal, I now invite you to a free meal, eat whatever you want, then most people will be embarrassed that they got a free meal. When you pull out that gold or that platinum American Express, it's on me. When you're eating like this, most people are embarrassed. Why do I need to be now in the mercy of this person? The Zohar calls it bread of shame. Nehama de ksufa. That when I come and I feel I'm depending on the kindness of another person, I'm embarrassed, I didn't do it myself. How good do you feel when you achieved something? When you achieve something, when you worked hard for it, you are much more happy. You're much more satisfied. When you did it. When you just get it, okay. Some people say, no, just give it to me. I don't want to work hard. That's sheker. That's a lie. When you toiled and worked hard, then you get it. So the Zohar says the reason why we have a sachar ve'onesh, because before the world was created, all the souls were marveling the beauty of Hashem, receiving unbelievable abundance, godly wisdom, shefa, pleasure that we can't even imagine. But at some point, the souls felt very uncomfortable, very embarrassed in front of Hashem, saying to Hashem, you constantly give and give and give. We want to give something back. We want to earn it. Hashem says, no problem. I will create a world where you have a system that you work and you get a reward. The harder you work, the more reward you get, and that's it. It's not about fair or not fair. You work hard, that's what you get. And this is this world. So in order for us to receive a reward, has to be a choice. Then I have to choose. You choose what you want to do. You choose good, then the reward will be better. You choose bad, then the chas v'shalom. Now, this concept in the teachings of the Zohar is called nehama de ksufa, what we will call in Hebrew matnat chinam. The translation of nehama de ksufa is bread of shame, but that's the title. But really what it means matnat chinam, that I get something for not doing anything. And most people, and again, I'm talking here very general, most people feel much more accomplished if they actually did something and they earned it than just receiving it. That's how it is. Now, what is Hashem really giving us? Hashem is not giving me a house. Hashem is not giving me health. Hashem is not giving me money. This is nonsense. This is the materialism of this world. Hashem is giving me what all of you want is bracha, is a shefa. The term bracha. What's bracha? If you translate the word bracha, it's a blessing. But really bracha comes from the word in Hebrew, havracha. Havracha means, for the ones of you who are a little bit aware of agriculture, what they used to do in the olden days, and maybe they do it even today, they would take a tree and then they would bend down one of the branches, cover the branch, and you know what would be the result? Another tree grows from here. This is called havracha, that you pull something down, and from that, there's growth. So really a bracha is that you pull down something into this world. We'll call it now, for the sake of the class, energy, or in our terminology, bracha. I pull it down into the world, and what's the result? Some type of growth. Can you imagine investing in a business and nothing comes out of it? Why do you need to invest in the business? I don't know anybody who starts a business and says, I want this business to go down to the toilet, I want to lose money here, I'm investing here only to lose. Oy vavoy if I make $1 here. Do you know any businessmen like that? I don't. Now, how do you feel if you invest in a business and nothing comes out? A year, 2, 3, nothing grows. What kind of investment is that? How do you feel when you invest in a relationship and nothing comes out? How would you feel you invest in your spiritual growth and nothing comes out? Your physical growth. You go to the gym. You want to grow. You want to get in shape. You invest in something only because you want some type of growth. Same thing here. What is a bracha? That I pull some type of shefa. Shefa means an abundance, a blessing, an energy into the world, so it will grow something here. You know why you want to grow in everything that you do? Because we are always pulled to our source. For example, later on, I know that Sean wants to talk a little bit about planets. The source of fire, everything has a source, by the way, everything has a root. The source of fire is in the moon. Take now a candle. Take now a candle, and the flame is going up. Turn the candle upside down. The candle will go right up. Why is the fire always going right up? You ever tried? I'm sure you tried it once at home. How come any direction you put the torch or the flame, the fire will always go up? Why? Because the source of fire is underneath the moon. On the other hand, take now water. Now you saw everybody got water now, right? It's like as if we're in the desert. Everybody here, we're getting water. Here. It's like in an airline. Here, drink something. If you now take water, pour it on the ground, what's going to happen to the water? Not talking on this floor, because this floor has laka. How do you say it in English? I don't know how you say it in English. Laka? Okay, so it's on it. Take now this water, pour it outside. What's going to happen to the water? It's going to go down and down and down and down. It's not going to stop, by the way. It's going to go down. You think it's only going down a foot. It's going to go down to the depth of what's called tehom, abyss, because that's the source of water. The source of water is in the depth of the planet. So water was always going to go down. So we are always drawn to the root. Fire is drawn up. Water will be drawn down. So why do you aspire to succeed? Because our soul is going up towards my source. So I constantly want to go up. Very few people, they're in such a low level that they let go and they're depressed and sad and I don't want to do anything. That's because there's a disconnection to the world above. That's why people become depressed and sad. There's no connection to the neshama, so they don't aspire to go up. But most people aspire, if it's in business, relationships, and anything else. So I constantly want to go to my source. So that's where I will want to go. So you want to invest in something. Why? So there will be growth. This is bracha. Bracha is not a blessing. The words in English, if you translate them, they don't work well. When ask now any person, how would you translate the word mitzvah? Everybody in this room will probably say it's a commandment. That's not correct, by the way. Don't go to Google Translate or to some Oxford Dictionary. Commandment means tzivui. Mitzvah comes from the root and the word in Hebrew that is called tzavta. Tzavta is a connection, a kesher, a unity. When I do a mitzvah, it's not that I'm fulfilling a commandment. I'm becoming united with God. That's a mitzvah. You want to be connected to Hashem? Put tefillin on. Say Birkat Hamazon. Wear tzitzit. Observe Shabbat. There's 613 mitzvot. I don't have to give you ideas. Most people are sad, depressed, unhappy, empty, and so forth because they're not connected to Hashem the right way. Maybe 1 or 2 strings is connecting them. So it's affecting them. Connect yourself 100% to Hashem, you'll be happy, healthy, everything. So mitzvah is not necessarily a commandment, rather a connection to Hashem. Same thing here. Same thing here. The bracha is not a blessing. Bracha means to pull something down from the world above. Why do we say a bracha before we make any mitzvah? What do we say? Baruch. Baruch means you pull down. Ata. What am I pulling? You. Ata means you. Who am I pulling? Hashem. Baruch Ata. Hashem. Who's Hashem? Elokeinu. Melech HaOlam is the God of the entire world. So I pull down God into the world. Now I'm able to connect. Right? This is a short version of what it means a bracha. Now when I ask Hashem for something, Hashem, please send me parnasa, healthy kids, wife, whatever. You think that when Hashem gives me something in Shamayim, I get a check? In order for you to receive something in this world, it means you have to receive it in the world above. In the world above, you receive it in a form that we call, in the teachings of Kabbalah, or light. Now, it's not a light like that, by the way. That's a misconception. Or comes from the word in Hebrew, he'ara, to enlight, an illumination. So in order for me to get a bracha in this world, a blessing, then it has to first be received in the world above. Then it will manifest into the world, materialize into the world, and either it will come into money, it will come into health, it will come into success, it will come into happiness, and so forth. But first has to be received in the world above. So what really am I receiving from Hashem? I'm not receiving money from Hashem. Money is irrelevant to the neshama and to the world above. The neshama doesn't care about money. The neshama doesn't care about a Mercedes, it doesn't care about Gucci and Pucci, it doesn't care about all this nonsense. You give your soul all this junk, the soul is rejecting it. The soul wants only the connection to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So what really am I getting from the Kadosh Baruch Hu is this spiritual light. Now is definitely not the time to elaborate what it means light, but take this title that light means, means an illumination. Imagine now you're sitting here and you're dying to know some type of a secret about a certain business. And I have this information. But a certain business you want to invest in. You come to me, you'll pay me a lot of money as an advisor, so I will tell you what I know. Right? You're going to be sitting like this, writing every little detail. This is he'ara. I am giving you now something that I possess, and I know, and you want. And you're willing to do a lot for it. This is a he'ara, godly revelation. I want a he'ara from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Why? Some air. Try to go 1 minute without air. Can you go? I don't know anyone that can go more than 2-3 minutes without. 3 minutes, that's already exaggerating. You can go a few hours without water, a few days without water. You can go a few days without eating or sleeping. You can't go more than 2 minutes without air. You'll die. Why do we need air? Because the manifestation of this godly light, this bracha that I'm getting from Hashem, is coming through air. That's why I say many times in my lectures, the motion of life is up, down, up, down. Go to a hospital, look at a person that is attached to a monitor. This is the motion of life. Up, down, up, down. In chas v'shalom, there's no motion. Flat line, no life. Same thing with the system that enlivens me. Breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You know how many times you inhale a day? Can you imagine one time skipping? Don't skip a few inhales. You can't. You can't go just inhale or just exhale. You can't go. You have to. That's the motion of life. Up, down, up, down. So when I inhale, I pull something down, so to say. How did the Kadosh Baruch Hu put the neshama in our body? Vayipach be'apiv nishmat chaim. Hashem blew the neshama in the body. Into Adam HaRishon, of course. So, when I need to summarize the idea of a bracha, what am I really trying to get from Hashem? We call it a bracha. Everybody wants a bracha. You saw the line before? When I was standing, Rabbi, give me a bracha, give me this. Everybody wants a bracha. Like as if I came with Israel with suitcases. Here, who wants a bracha? 2 for the price of 1. Who wants a bracha? Stand in line, I'll give you a bracha. What's interesting to me is a lot of people asking me for a bracha. Some people think that rabbis, when they graduate rabbinical school, the rabbi that gives them the ordination says, listen, don't tell anybody, but here is the source of the brachot. When people ask you for the brachot, here you take one from here. Why are you asking me for a bracha? Any person can give you a bracha. You can give a bracha to yourself. Needless to say that, of course, you want a person that usually will be a little bit more refined than the average individual, a little bit more holy, and so forth. But nevertheless, you can give yourself brachot. But to summarize the point of the bracha, what I really want Hashem to give me, I want this illumination, this enlightenment. The term of Kabbalah means all. I want to receive all. How do I receive it? Only if I work hard. This is called yegi'ah. You work hard, you get it. End the story. No shortcuts. When I grew up, Baruch Hashem, my father was a very successful businessman. He had a lot of money. We lived in a very wealthy neighborhood. All my friends got motorbikes when they were 16. I wanted a motorbike. My father told me, go and work. Go and work? You can buy me 5 of them. No, go and work. Since I was 11 years old, my father, everything I wanted, go and work. And now as a child, I was a very unhappy child. I resented that. Why aren't you buying me? You can buy me any car you want, or any car I want. No, you go and work. When I look back at it, he did the biggest favor to my life. Because when I see people that grew up with me, they're spoiled, they're unsuccessful, they have no backbone, they can't do anything for themselves, they call every 2 months to their father, send me a check. I was making money when I was 15. When I was 16, when I was 17, I'm telling you, I was 27 when I was in America. I knew how to make money out of air. Why? Because I was taught, you want something, you go and work. You put effort, you'll be successful. If you don't put effort and you're successful, it's sheker, it's a lie, it will explode at some point. It will sustain for a minute, a year, that's it. 2 years, 10 years, whatever. It will go. So what really do I want to receive from Hashem? Is this illumination, this enlightenment, this all. How? By hard work. Why do the system operates like that? Because that cancels the embarrassment. You know, I started telling you a little bit about my near-death experience. Some of you who heard it, you will remember the part that I told you that I was thrown into a huge room. Dark room, it looked like a stadium. Huge room. I was standing there naked. No clothes. Now, I wasn't naked from clothes because I was in a body. But my soul was completely empty, naked. The Talmud calls it neshama artilait, a naked soul. Because the same way that we are covered with garments, our soul is covered with garments. How do you acquire garments to your soul? You do mitzvot in this world. You do mitzvot, you cover your neshama with garments. Chas v'shalom, you do sins, you put stains on the garment. Can you imagine going to your own wedding with a $5,000 tuxedo or a beautiful wedding gown and the whole gown is full of ketchup and hummus and tahina? It's embarrassing. Same thing in the world above. You do sins, your soul is full of stains. You know how embarrassing it is in the world above? In that particular part of my near-death experience, the shame was unbearable. Not pain, no torture, shame. Shame. This is the worst thing that a person can feel in this world and in the world above. Alachat kama v'kama. So much more so. What it means to feel. Can you imagine being embarrassed in front of a whole crowd of people? You don't know what to do with yourself. So why do we want to acquire the bracha from Hashem? To annul and to cancel any type of humiliation, or what we call bitul habusha. Cancel busha. I don't want to have any busha. I don't want to walk into Shamayim and say, I earned it. I'm going to tell you a private story. Many years passed so I can talk freely. When I was 14, I was a very adventurous and mischievous teenager and young adult, okay? One day I'll share with you some real stories, but nevertheless, when I was 14 years old, Shem Yerachem, I used to at night wait till like 2 o'clock in the morning, open the garage quietly, not with the remote. I would dismantle it and push it up, put my mother's sports car in neutral, push it out, all the way out of the driveway, and run away. Okay? 14 years old. I used to drive all night, flying on highways. Just imagine a 14-year-old bufra barosh, as they say. And I would go pick up my friends. We would drive. We had a lot of fun. She had a beautiful sports car. And of course, the world works in a way that at one point I got caught, of course. The police picked up on me. They saw a car flying on 150 kilometers an hour. And so I started a pursuit. I was able to lose them. And then I went into some alley. And whoop, I turned everything down. And I slide myself, all the way like this down. So I won't be spotted. And I see the police car going and coming back. And going, they're looking for me. And I'm with the mirror like that. And then they stop and they go into the alley and I'm like, okay, long story short, come knock on the door, driver's and registration please. I say I don't have, give me ID, I don't have. Long story short, I get arrested and I get pulled, I taken to the police. You know how they found me? Because I wasn't as smart as I thought. My leg was still on the brakes. So the brake lights were on. Anyways, my father is being called to the police station for the 100th time. And of course, I get a misheberach, and I'm sitting like this and being screamed at. And anyways, long story short, a good friend came to the rescue, spoke to the chief of the police there, whatever, somehow pulling some strings, I was out, because I was about to get in real trouble. Because the way it worked is that if my father would say, I gave him the car, he goes to jail. And if he says I didn't give him the car, then I stole the car. Anyways, long story short, pull some strings, and I'm out. Okay. When I reached 17, that's the age in Israel where you can get a driver's license, my older sisters, their 17th birthday present was to get a driver's license. In Israel, it costs a lot of money. It's not like here that your parent teaches you. You have to go through 40 hours of driving, whatever. Anyways, long story short, my father says, I'm not giving you nothing. I'm not financing your driver's license. Anyway, when I turned 17, I was very upset. But what did I do? It was summer. I went to work. Where all my friends went surfing and partying, I went to work. And I worked my tuches. And then, of course, I had my own money. Nobody knew about it. I paid for my own driver's license, which took a long time and a lot of money. It's not like here in America. In Israel, it's not easy till you get a driver's license. You have to drive a certain amount of hours. It costs you every hour costs a lot of money. Long story short, I get my own license. I call my mother. Mom, how are you? Good. Do you need the car tonight? Again! And I get a mishaberach. I told no. I have a license. Really? I call my father. Dad, can you add me to the insurance of the car? Excuse me? I told him I have a driver's license. I just showed up with a driver's license. Forget about the pride. My parents were so happy, proud. Wow, I was so... I did it. I didn't need assistance. I didn't need money. I did it myself. I worked hard to earn the money, to do it quietly, and I don't owe anybody anything. Can you imagine the feeling? It's not a feeling of disgusting ge'ava, pride. It's a good pride. I felt so... I don't even know the words. Worthy, whatever you can say now, any word you want. I felt, wow, I did it. And you know what? I was even more happy because I was able to prove to anybody, especially my parents, I don't need you. Not in a not nice way, by the way. My father was so proud. He's like, I see you're not even depending on me. You're 17, you're able to do it by yourself. But why am I saying that? Because if I had to get it like this is embarrassing. I have an unbelievable zchut. I live in Eretz Israel, in Tzfat, one of the most holiest places in the world. We had the zchut to build a yeshiva, a kollel, a women's seminary. One thing that we started doing, we have these big Shabbat meals where we host dozens of people, sometimes hundreds of people. So we started having a lot of leftovers. So we started by giving over the leftovers. And then as everything grew, so the leftovers became meals. And Baruch Hashem, we have a food bank. We feed hundreds of people. Hundreds of people come to us to get either money, either coupons, either food, whatever it is. 2 weeks ago, before I left, one guy, he's in his 80s, a Holocaust survivor. He comes every Thursday. And I give him money to buy food. Money. He's getting money. Some people just give coupons. So I want to make sure they're actually getting food. He might give money. I told him, listen, I'm going for 2 weeks to America for a tour. I'm not going to see you. He grabbed my hand, an 80-something-year-old man, crying. So what are you crying? Well, are you going to miss me? I'm coming back in 2 weeks. He's like, I'm not. Of course I'm going to miss you. How am I going to eat? How am I going to eat? I said, don't worry. What are you worrying? I'm going to give you money. What are you praying? Don't worry. My wife is here. My son is here. Why am I saying that? Because I see people come to us, and I see it as a zchut to feel people. But you know, it's very easy to fall into the trap that like, oh, I'm the one who's feeding everybody. And I see people coming in, sometimes they're like this, they're embarrassed, you know, they come late at night. Shabbat, we have huge meals. So I always tell people, come on, say Shabbat. Take the food. It's fresh, it's good food. Homemade. Some of them come at 11 o'clock at night, quietly. Don't want anybody to see. It's embarrassing to some people, you know. Who is embarrassing? To the ones who had money or had some type of a status. Yeah. And my wife's effort is, no, you have nothing. We're not judging you, chas v'shalom. They feel comfortable. The same exact thing. Why do we work hard in this world? You don't want to be embarrassed in front of Hashem. You do not want to be embarrassed in front of the rest of the souls. So we work hard in this world. I'm not talking about working hard to make money. Working hard in my refinement, in my spiritual growth, in relationships, in challenges that I go through. So I'm not going to be embarrassed in the world about. This is called bitul habusha, a nullification of any type of embarrassment. Now, I have said before that when the Torah says about bchira chofshit, it says bacharta b'chaim. You should choose life. Do you know anybody that would not choose to live? I'm not talking about chas v'shalom, somebody now in the worst place in their life, and chas v'shalom, they don't want to live anymore for whatever problem they have. Or I'm talking about a normal individual. A regular. Forgive me for saying normal. A regular individual that doesn't go through some. Who doesn't want to live? Any person, you'll put him in a situation, they'll do whatever they can to live. So I need to choose to live. What does it mean, bacharta b'chaim? To choose to live. I don't know anybody who goes to the doctor and says, doctor, just finish it. Well, chas v'shalom, if a person is in severe pain or whatever. But most people, their natural disposition is to fight for life. Who wants to choose death? So why is the Torah telling me, v'charta b'chaim, choose life? You know, I need to be told to be choosing life? I don't need to be told that. What does it mean life? What does it mean chaim? It's not life. I don't need to choose to live or not. Chaim means that I will have this connection with Hashem, that I will receive this godly revelation from Hashem in a form of connection. Not in any other way. That's chaim. That I want to be connected to Hashem. So when I say uvacharta b'chaim, you choose that what you receive from Hashem will connect you to Hashem. Not disconnect you. Now why do you want to be connected to Hashem? Because that's your source of happiness. That's your source of anything. Anything that you're lacking in this world is because you're not connected to Hashem the right way. And of course, many people will say, but I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be fanatic. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to be fanatic. I choose to do that because I know the value. You need to follow the Torah. That's it. There's no difference between me and you. By the way, whatever I have to do, you have to do. There's no difference between us. Doesn't matter where you were born. You're Sephardi, Ashkenazi, you're 40, you're 60. If you want to add on that, go ahead, add. But nevertheless, we all have to do the same thing. If I don't complain that life is full of problems. Sadness, depression, anxiety, fear, sickness, no parnasa, no bracha. You're not connected. Take your phone now, disconnected from the data or from the internet or Wi-Fi. Now you can complain to the phone. Well, you disconnected it. Well, of course you're not going to get any internet connection. You disconnected it. Same thing with Hashem. So what does it mean, bacharta b'chaim, choose life? Is that I choose that what I get from Hashem is coming in a form of connection, that I'm connected to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And like I told you, and I'll repeat it again, you don't have to look like this to be connected to Hashem. But don't distort what I'm saying by saying, I'm religious in my heart. And I'm not making fun of anybody, by the way, but some people say, I'm connected to Hashem in a way you're not going to understand. Maybe I look like a fool, but there's only one way to connect to Hashem, that's through Torah and mitzvot. There's no any other way, by the way. And that's also for the non-Jews. By the way, non-Jews also have to connect to Hashem through Torah and mitzvot. We have 613 mitzvot, they have 7, and it's not really 7, it's more like 70. They just might not know it. That's our problem, because we are obligated to be the light to the nations. But nevertheless, any other way you think you're connecting to Hashem, wrong. So I'm not making fun of people, but some people say, I'm religious in my heart. Don't be religious in your heart, be religious in your actions. And that's it. That's how you connect to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. End of story. Now, what is Mavet? I said Chaim. Bacharta b'chaim. Choose life. So life, I understand. That's me being connected to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's how I receive this abundance. So what is Mavet? Do you know anybody that chooses to die? I don't know anybody that chooses to die. Even when you go 150 miles an hour in a fast car, you don't say, tonight I'm going to crash. You might doing it from a little bit of irresponsibility or to stupidity, but you don't think that you're going to die. You don't aim to die. I mean, I did some foolish things in my life, but it was just some type of a rush. Jumping out of an airplane or whatever it is, all sorts of nonsense. I had a motorbike, fast motorbikes. I would go 230 kilometers an hour on highways like a nutcase. It was a rush, but I think I ever thought, oh, tonight I'm going to die. No. So what does it mean, uvacharta b'mavet? Bacharta bara, you choose bad means mavet. What does it mean, mavet? That everything that I receive is for my own good. This is what's called, in the Kabbalistic term, haratzon lekabel. Everything is for me. Whatever you're doing it, for me. For my own gratification, for my own satisfaction. This is bacharta b'mavet. You choose death. It's not real life. Why are you doing this act? Because I want to get satisfaction. Because I want to be pleasured. Because I want to fulfill my needs and my desires. This is called mavet in Hebrew. Death. I'm not talking about the end of the body functioning. This is a misconception, by the way, because people think death is that you get buried in the ground and lights out and you're done. When you're being buried in the ground, it's not lights out. That's when everything starts. Death is really an elevation in your spiritual level. You finish here, you get upgraded, promoted to another different place. If you think your life ends there, then do a recheck to your entire system. When somebody dies, they just start. So real death, when the Torah is talking about mavet, it means that the direction of my projection of the energy is not out, is in. I want. Why are you doing that? For my own satisfaction. This is called egoism. If a person has egoism just for me, that's mavet, that's death. The person will never, ever, ever be happy, successful, satisfied, fulfilled, nothing. Sadness, depression, anger, everything. Anxieties. Why? Because the emotion is I want. So bacharta b'chaim, that I want my connection to Hashem to be how I receive from Hashem is that a connection. Selfness. Mavet, death, is when I want it for myself. Again, egoism. Now, again, like I told you, death, mavet, is not the body ceasing to exist. Mavet, and the translation to mavet is death, is momentary pleasure. Right now, I want a good steak. Do you have any memory from the steak? No, it got digested, and that's it. I want a nice vacation. And again, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having a good meal or to have a vacation. But when I want it for my own self-satisfaction, and most people, they're going after this what's called hanaot regi'iyot, little satisfaction, moments of satisfaction. Either it's a second, a minute, an hour, a week, that's it. Some people save the whole year to go to a week vacation, and if they fall in the wrong hotel, their whole vacation is messed up. Now what do you do? How many times you go to a restaurant, you're starving, you have in your mind, I'm going to have an amazing dinner, you fall in the most disgusting restaurant, you want to throw up, and you're sick for 3 days. So all these momentary pleasures, this is called in Lashon Kodesh, mavet. You after like a moment of pleasure, don't you want an eternal pleasure? Don't you want the pleasures that you get? There's nothing wrong with pleasures. Don't take my words wrong. There's nothing wrong with pleasure. God created us to have pleasure. We are a being that wants to be pleasured. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how Hashem created us. But the question is, what type of pleasure do you want? Do you want an internal pleasure? Eternal, that's vacharta b'chaim. Or momentary pleasure, just right now. That's called mavet. You choose. And that's where you get the bchira here. That's where you start choosing. What do you want? How do you want the pleasure to come? Momentary or eternal? Now, excuse me? Can you have both? Not really. Because I'm not talking about, and again, I don't want you to chas v'shalom get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with going to a good restaurant. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going to a nice vacation. There's nothing wrong with having a beautiful home and a nice car. But that shouldn't be the highest priority. And if I'm already having a good meal, say birkat hamazon. Say if it's for the Kadosh Baruch Hu. I want to now fulfill the mitzvah of ve'achalta ve'savata u'verachta. And I want to do what's called oneg Shabbat or oneg. It'aneg alavaya. If you do it for your own gratification, thumbs down. You're doing for the Kadosh Baruch Hu, thumbs up. You think Facebook invented the thumbs up and thumbs down? Kadosh Baruch Hu invented that. So it all depends also what you do. So we're going to elaborate on that a little bit more, but I don't want you to chas v'shalom think that I'm telling you live a life of poverty and don't go out anymore and don't go to vacations. I'm not saying that. Lefech. Nothing wrong with enjoying things in this world, but it has to be in the right intention, and needless to say that it's not to pleasure myself. To do some Kiddush Hashem, we'll elaborate on that. Now, the way it works is either you connect yourself to light or either you connect yourself to darkness. You choose who you connect yourself to. Bacharta batov, bacharta b'chaim, you choose good in life, you connect yourself to light. You choose bad, you choose mavet, death, you connect yourself to darkness. That's how it works. Light and darkness. I don't know anybody that wants to be left in darkness. Now what does it mean? What's the terminology of Ra? I'm not talking about the translation, because translation of Ra is mean or evil or bad. Ra means desire for myself. That's Ra. Why are you doing that? For myself. Not to hurt anybody's feelings. I should have put the comma, then, and then not to hurt anybody's feelings. That was now on Shabbat in a certain shul. And you know, some shuls, they sell the aliyot. The opening of the ark, Ptichat HaEchal. Some people, when they donate, they don't donate because they want to support the shul. They donate because they want everybody to see that he said Pa'amayim Chai. Or whatever, 1,000. Now what? The hand goes up the same. What are you doing it? You're doing it because the real intention is to support the cause? Or you want everybody, Shafuni Anas, look at me, I have a lot of money. Same thing, you did the same act. Now where do you get more of the mitzvah? Quiet. Nobody needs to know what you have, what you don't have, quietly. So, same thing here. Ra, it means that it's, I want. And again, I'm repeating myself over and over. Don't distort my words. There's nothing wrong with having a nice car, a nice house, beautiful clothes. Nothing wrong with that. By the way, I don't want you to think that I'm telling you to live a life of... No, not telling you that. But what's the intention? What do I want? Ra, evil, mean, doesn't mean mean and evil. It means that the ratzon, the desire is for me. Now what is Or? The complete opposite. The Tov, the Chaim, the good in the life. Shefa. Abundance. Unbelievable abundance. Abundance can be in health, can be in happiness, can be in money. You know that some people have a lot of money. Money is pouring out of their ears. But there's no shefa there. Why? Either they're holding it, either it's being misused, either they're being sued now for that money. Whatever it is, there's no bracha, there's no shefa in the money. You want that when you get an abundance that you feel that it's an abundance. So, Bacharta Batov, good is Shefa. Now, the way it works is the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants me to resemble him. There's a famous book, it's called Tomer Dvorah, written by the Ramak, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, a great Kabbalist that lived about 500 years ago in the city of Tzfat, wrote many, many books of Kabbalah. One of the books that is famous that he wrote is not even a book of Kabbalah, but it's called Tomer Dvorah. In that book, which I highly suggest to anybody to read, I'm not so sure which is a good English translation, but Torah you learn in Hebrew, not in English. Anyways, in my seminary, learn it in English. You can find the videos online. But nevertheless, he opens the book by saying that we have to resemble to our Creator. That's it. Chayav Adam lidamot lebor'o. A person has to resemble his Creator. Mahu rachum, he's merciful, you be merciful. He's full of chesed, you should be full of chesed. He forgives, you forgive. If you live by this code, you are untouchable in this world. Successful beyond belief. That's why one of the greatest Tanaim of all times, Rabbi Akiva says, Ma shesanu alecha al taseh lechavecha. What you hate when somebody does to you, don't do. What you hate when somebody does to you, don't do to another person. This was actually said by Rabbi Hillel, Bet Hillel, when a certain Gentile came to convert. He came first to Beit Shammai, kicked him out of the window, he told him, teach me the whole Torah on one leg. So he says, what you hate that people do to you, don't to another person. But the Ramak Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, in the book Tomer Dvorai, and I told you, I highly recommend to read it. It's not a big book, it's this thick. But it's the foundation of success. And he says, just always resemble Hashem. Whatever Hashem is doing, you do. So what does Hashem do? He's a mashpia. Mashpia means a giver. Did you ever get a bill from the Kadosh Baruch Hu? You get a bill from Con Edison, you get a bill from AT&T, you get a bill from whatever. You definitely get a bill from the city of New York with thousands of dollars of property taxes. That I know. Do you ever get a bill from the Kadosh Baruch Hu for breathing? No. Bill means you owe me this. Kadosh Baruch Hu ever send you a bill? I gave you life. Do you owe me something? I gave you air. I give you air every day. Do you ever get a bill for that? I'm sure at some point in this world they'll start billing you for air. But nevertheless, Hashem doesn't bill you. He gives and gives and gives. And He gives not to the righteous. He gives to the Rashaim. He gives to Rashaim. How would Hashem give to a Rasha? Rasha means a wicked person. But Hashem is giving and giving. Noten, Shefa, al bli dai, without any stop. So you be a giver. You be a mashpia. You think that if you'll take, you'll receive? No. The more you give, you receive. The more you give out, and it's not necessarily writing checks, by the way. Giving out can be your attention, your time, your personality, your speciality, your gifts. Giving is not checks, by the way. There's nothing wrong with checks, by the way. But giving is, where are you giving? You're giving patience to somebody? You're giving room to somebody? You're giving somebody else a little bit of more honor and respect, whatever it is. Hashem is a giver. In Hebrew we call it mashpia. You'll be a mashpia. You'll be a giver. You'll be very, very successful. Now, when we're saying uvacharta b'chaim, you have to choose life. It's not to choose to live, rather to choose the good in everything. Now, what does that really mean? It boils down to something very, very simple. Each and every one of us, don't deny, each and every one of us are subject and controlled by our te'avot, our desires. End of story. Don't deny it. If you deny it, you'll go the completely wrong way in your life. I am controlled by my desires. If I want to eat right now this amazing piece of steak, I will be controlled by it. I will move everything just to jump on the cookie, on the steak. And this is a small desire. Some people have big desires. You use your own imagination. What are your desires? Desire means there's nothing wrong to desire things. You should desire your wife, not somebody else's wife, by the way. Te'ava means that I want something and I will kill everything. I will move everything to get it. Now, some of the desires are forbidden things. This is called te'ava asura. And some of the desires is permitted. You can do it. You can and should desire your wife or your husband. Now, don't desire something that doesn't belong to you. That's already prohibited. But constantly what motivates me every day is my own desire, te'ava. I want this cookie because I want to feel this yummy taste in my mouth. If you would know really what's in this cookie, you wouldn't want to eat it. Because there's white flour in there, there's sugar, could be some all sorts of preservatives or some other junk in there. You might feel a little bit of tasty on your taste buds, but then you have a stomachache or a headache or all sorts of other health problems. If you really know what's in that cookie, you might not want to eat it, by the way. You might say, pass. That it smells good, but I don't want it. So te'ava can be anything that I desire, good or bad, and all day long we have te'avot. Now you don't have to tell me, you don't have to now admit in public, but constantly what's going on in our thoughts, all these te'avot. Be true to yourself. If you're not going to be true to yourself, you'll never grow spiritually and you'll never be fully happy. I asked you in the beginning if you're really happy. It's because I'm controlled by te'avot. This, all day long. I see how people behave. What's going on in their thoughts? Whoa, relax. Relax a little bit. Take a deep breath. Sit down. You don't have to jump on everything that moves. What does it really mean? Uvacharta batov. You should choose good. Control your desires. Control your desires. You know, I love coffee. I don't want to say the word addiction, but because I'm not addicted. You know, yesterday, after the whole show, you know when I had my first cup of coffee? 10:30 at night. I'll show this te'ava when I'm having coffee. Most people, they want something, they jump on it. Most people wake up in the morning, right away coffee, right? I teach, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We have a group of men that we're learning in the yeshiva. If you watch the videos of the classes in the morning, you know what you see in the screen? Vapor. All the coffee is coming up in the screen. Now we have a beautiful coffee bar in the yeshiva. All the tastes on here. Smell the African blend aroma. On this side, the Turkish blend aroma. You know when I have my first cup of coffee? 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is controlling your te'ava. Don't jump on the cup of coffee right now. You don't really need it. It's misconception. The coffee doesn't wake you up. Nonsense. Nonsense. Caffeine doesn't wake you up. It will give you a boost, and then it will go down twice the size. Have a good orange, it will give you energy. So caffeine doesn't wake you up. It's a te'ava because you like the coffee. This is where I live. My yeshiva is right over here. The mikveh is over there. And in between the yeshiva and the mikveh, there's a bakery. 4 o'clock in the morning, they bake all the goods. I see people in the morning going like that. The croissantim, the rogalach. You don't have to go to the mikveh or to the bakery. Oh, what a scent. Oh. Now what happens? So the students come at 6 o'clock in the morning with their coffee, and the whole table's full of rogalach. You know what's rogalach? These chocolate yummy things. And the cinnamon ones. Oh, in the morning. How do you say in America? To die for. Can I have one of them? And they're all sitting like that. Baruch Hashem, I don't have a camera on the students. Did you come to eat or did you come to learn? You know what happens when your jaw goes like this, by the way? The ear is closed. You don't hear nothing. Sometimes people invite me to speak and they're serving dinner. No. Let the people finish eating, then I will talk. Because the jaw goes like this, the ear doesn't work. But don't you think I also have the desire to have that beautiful donut? I mean, we don't have donuts. It's croissantim and rogalachim and these cinnamon buns. Bemet to die for. But you know what? I look at that and I say, what's in it? Sugar, flour, and all sorts of other junk. It's not even healthy. It doesn't even give any nutrition. It gives you a stomach ache, tooth problems, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. You hyper a little bit because you had too much sugar, so then you get upset and angry and anxiety. What good is that moment of pleasure? And then the whole day I messed up. So I had 3 seconds of pleasure from this unbelievable cinnamon, whatever it is, but then a stomach ache. And I might not have a stomach ache, but the body is full of sugar. I'm agitated the whole day. I don't understand why I'm aggravated, because you had 2 spoons of sugar. You make a calculation if you want the immediate gratification or not. Now, why am I saying all that? Because I also have te'avot. I also want to have the cookie and the coffee and the... I put my te'ava on a leash. No. Coffee, 4 in the afternoon. And sometimes if I see the te'ava is a little bit crazy, 6 o'clock in the evening. Or if you're going to not behave, you're not getting coffee today. You control your te'ava. Now, you do it with small things like a cookie and coffee, you'll see that you control your big te'avot. And I'm not going to now Chas v'Shalom, give examples. You know exactly which te'avot I'm talking about. I think there's some kids in the crowd. We don't want to make it rated R now. You think what's your mind thinking of all day long? This is a te'ava. Put it under a leash. Let's see you control it. Now, when you control your te'ava, uvacharta b'chaim. You chose life. You chose good. That's what it's all about. You know what causes human suffering? That you don't control your te'avot. End of story. Put your te'ava, again, te'ava is a desire, a lust. Put it under control, you're not going to suffer. Why do you suffer? Because you want something and you can't get it. So a $2 cookie you can get, but a $130,000 Mercedes that your neighbor has, you can't get. I wish you to have 3 Mercedeses, by the way. But if you can't get it, inside, because you can't get it. And you might never get it, by the way. So if you desire something that doesn't belong to you, for sure if it's forbidden, you're going to be miserable. Because you will never get it and you cannot get it. This is a te'ava. Not talking now about a cookie. I am going to take it to the rated R. How many times a person is desiring another person? It's not yours, not your wife, not your husband. Don't even go to that direction. You are going to break any foundation you have in your life if you go to that department. Everything will shatter in your life for years. Even if you did it 40 years ago. People don't understand. I'm suffering. Well, 40 years ago, by the way, you did something. Start doing tshuva, because if you did it 40 years ago, it will take you 40 years to fix it. So when I control my desire, no human suffering. Now, don't take it the wrong way and thinking that you're going to stop having challenges. Challenges you'll have till the last day of your life. But you're not going to be suffering. You're not going to have fear and anxieties and worries and diseases and all. You'll have a challenge. Nothing wrong with a challenge, by the way. You know what's the challenge in your life? It's the resistance. You want to work out? You need resistance. That's how you develop. Where do we learn how to do that? Is from our forefather Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu, in our terms, was a billionaire. He was the billionaire. He was the Jeff Bezos of the generation. Avraham Avinu had everything. Hashem berachat Avraham bakol. He had everything you can think of. Wealth. He was a prophet. He was deep. Everybody came to Avraham Avinu. What did he do? Come, eat. Tents everywhere. All the desert full of tents. Come, what do you want to eat? Veal? What do you want? Lamb? I'll barbecue, whatever you want. Here, wine in the middle of the desert. Under one condition. Say thank you to Hashem. Tevarech. I don't want to. Okay, here's a $20,000 bill. Say thank you to Hashem. Avraham Avinu started introducing to the world that you get something, you thank, you appreciate, and you work for it. You know, one of the mitzvot that is hardest for most people to do is to say thank you to Hashem. Yeah. Most people will drive half an hour to the other side of town to buy the pizza that is mezonot, just not to eat the pizza that is a motzi. And then, chas v'shalom, I have to say birkat hamazon. You're willing to drive half an hour. Why don't you want to do the biggest mitzvah in the Torah? Well, not the biggest, but one of the biggest ones. Avraham Avinu wanted to teach the world that you have to thank. Thanking means appreciating. Appreciating means that you worked hard and you acquired it. You didn't get it for free, you didn't get it for nothing. So when we want to conclude such a broad topic, yes, we have free choice. The free choice is not if you're going to wear a blue shirt or a white shirt. Hashem already knows what you're going to wear. This is irrelevant. Hashem doesn't care what shirt you wear. Your choice is not if you're going to eat today sushi or falafel. It doesn't matter. This Hakol tzafui. Everything is already predestined. Aval hareshut. What is the reshut? What is the permission? You choose how, when, in what way, in what matter. Are you going to do it with anger or are you going to do it with happiness? Are you going to do it calm or are you going to do it angry? You're still going to go through what you're going to go through, by the way. Are you going to lose your temper or are you going to be calm? The challenge, the test will be there regardless. You choose how. You are going to drive to the same path. You're going to be sitting 2 hours in traffic. You just choose if you put a nice shiur Torah and listen, and you're sitting like that, Baruch Hashem. Hashem gave me 2 hours to learn now Torah. Or you're going to sitting like this and go from one lane to another lane to another lane, and you choose. You're still going to get there at the same time. Either you're going there relaxed and you enjoy every moment of the way, or not. Or you're uptight and pressured and angry and impatient. It's still going to take you 2 hours to get there. You choose how. You choose in what form, in what way. But when we want to take it a little bit over the next level, you choose what you do with this life. Hashem already decided who you're going to get married before you were born. You choose if you're going to appreciate this woman or the man. You choose if you're going to respect that spouse. You choose if you're going to be compassionate, patient, loving, or not. You don't want? Okay, so you have a bad marriage. Very simple. I'm not saying that marriage is simple and easy, but you choose. You have a difficult child, chas v'shalom. You choose how you deal with it. He's going to be difficult regardless. But you choose. If you are loving him, you choose patience, you choose to angry, to be judgmental, you choose to fight. You choose how you're going to relate with the situation. You can sit back and relax and say, listen, it's going to take a day. It will take a day. I can change something. Can I change something? Oh, you can't. You choose how you're going to do it. You choose to be happy. You can look at something and say, I'm miserable. You can look at it and say, oh, no, I choose to be happy. Why? Something good is going to come out of it. So your choice is not, again, points in your life. You can't change your life. Your life is already predestined. But you choose the good. You choose to connect to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, when you follow everything that I told you tonight, if you want, I will sign to you. I guarantee to you, life will be much better. You'll be happier. You'll be more successful. You'll be more content. You'll have better relationships. Everything is going to go exactly, but you do it in a nice way. I guarantee to you. I didn't say it's easy. But you choose how to. I can give you now so many different examples how to relate to a certain situation. You can complain and whine, but that's the situation. Are you going to change it? No. So you choose how you're going to do it, either good or bad. So when we want to conclude, yes, there is free choice. And free choice is not to choose necessarily, like I told you, a blue shirt or a white shirt. You choose how you look at the situation, how you relate to the situation. But when you do the right choices, life is becoming much less of a problem. Now I know you're looking at me and thinking that I'm going to tell you to become religious. I'm not telling you that. I am telling you that we all as Jews have to do the same thing. That's what I'm telling you. You choose what to do. This is another one of your choices. But nevertheless, I am telling you, choose to be happy. Choose to be successful. Choose to connect to Hashem in the right way. Choose to, you're already here. I have kind of a motto. I'm already stuck in a bad situation. Make the best out of it. I'm already here. Must be that I was predestined to come here. You know how many times I got in situations in my life that I couldn't understand why? We just talked about it before. 2 years ago, I got stuck in Florida in Hurricane Irma. What a disaster. But I'm already here. I'm already here. Let's do something good about it. Hashem wanted me to be. Would it work if I now get upset and uptight? Is it going to help me in any way? No. So why you shoot yourself in the leg? Sit back. Relax. See, everything is good. Hashem specifically brought you here. And you make a quick choice in your life. You want to choose good or bad. You're already here. ובחרת בטוב, you choose good, בחרת בחיים. בחרת ברע, you choose bad, you choose mavet. Mavet means that I will never be satisfied. Like I told you. I want you to leave this door tonight with a change in your heart, a change in your mind, that you can call me tomorrow, in a week, or in a month, and tell me, you know what, I'm a much happier person. Thank you. You were able to do one little adjustment in my perception that I'm a little bit of a happier person. I don't see things so bad. I'm not so judgmental. I don't get so angry so fast. I guarantee to you, I will repeat it as many times as you want, life will become much better. You'll be more happy, more self-worth. You'll see more bracha in your life. See, things are moving the right. Most people, their life is stuck. Why? Because I am directing the energy here instead of there. And what is the key, like I told you? You become a giver. You give. The more you give, the more you're going to get. The more you're going to give out, give some patience to your wife, 20 minutes, relax, ask her how she is. You'll see, you're going to get much more. As they say, the famous cliche, make your wife a queen, you'll be a king. But all these cliches are built on something. Don't think you're going to lose something if you give. You're never going to lose if you really give, but give genuinely. If it's giving for the sake of yourself, fake. Give genuinely, I guarantee to you, Hashem will give you 3 times much. Hashem has no limits in anything. Not in money, not in health, not in parnasa, not in nothing. People think that if I hold it tight, no. The more you give, but give genuinely, Hashem will give you 10 monim. So I'm going to give you a bracha. I know we talked about the bracha, but I'm going to give you a bracha. Because you're already here. That Hashem should bless you with great happiness, great success, menuchat hanefesh and menuchat haguf, peace in your heart, peace in your soul, and Hashem should give you the gift that you'll be able to choose only good.